Welcome to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. Quick, actionable tips to master personal finance and real estate investing. In just 5 minutes a day, we'll help you build wealth and achieve financial freedom. Hey, Prime investors, Martin Maxwell here, and welcome back to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast, where we turn market noise into clear, actionable strategy. Washington, D.C. has shut its doors, and for the amateur investor, that means one thing: panic. They see the headlines about the housing market grinding to a halt, they hear whispers of deals falling apart, and they freeze. But for a prime investor, a disruption like this isn't a dead end. It's a stress test. It's an opportunity to see if your systems, your preparation, and your mindset are truly professional grade. Because my point of view is this: market chaos doesn't create losers. It reveals them. It's the filter that separates the prepared from the unprepared. Today, we're not going to waste a single second complaining about the gridlock. We are going to build your tactical toolkit, what I'm calling your Shutdown Survival Kit, to navigate this disruption, protect your capital, and yes, even find opportunities where others only see obstacles. First, let's talk about the biggest, most immediate roadblock: the National Flood Insurance Program, or NFIP. As of October 1st, the NFIP's authority to issue new or renewal policies has lapsed. Now, for investors who aren't in coastal states, this might sound like a distant problem. This is $1 million misunderstanding. If you're using a federally backed mortgage, and that includes the vast majority of conventional loans, to buy a property in a FEMA-designated special flood hazard area, flood insurance isn't optional. It is a non-negotiable requirement for closing. Think of the NFIP as the master key required to unlock tens of thousands of transactions in states like Florida, Louisiana, and Texas. Right now, the government has misplaced that key. It's estimated this could delay or outright cancel over 1,300 home sales per day. Now, let's do some myth busting. The amateur hears this and thinks all deals in flood zones are dead. That is simply not true, and thinking that way is a tactical error. Your first defensive play is to understand the reality. Existing NFIP policies are still in effect. Claims can still be paid, assuming FEMA has the funds. The freeze is on new policies and renewals. So what's the tactical solution? It's what we always do. You pivot. The federal program is frozen, but the private market is not. Private flood insurance is still widely available, and in many cases, it can be secured faster and even offer superior coverage. Your first action item, the moment you identify an NFIP dependency, is to immediately call an independent insurance broker. Not your captive agent, but an independent broker who works with multiple carriers. They are your fastest path to comparing private market options. This isn't just a temporary workaround. For a professional investor, it should be part of a permanent toolkit. A structural dependency on a single, unreliable government program is a strategic vulnerability. This shutdown just brought that vulnerability into the light. The second major choke point is the bureaucratic bottleneck in loan processing. This is more subtle, but it can impact almost any deal anywhere in the country. I'm calling this the income verification void. Many lenders, as a crucial part of their underwriting and fraud prevention, require an IRS form to directly verify a borrower's income history from tax transcripts. With the IRS operating on a skeleton crew, those requests are now going into a bureaucratic black hole. It's a classic supply chain disruption. The factory that produces a critical piece of paperwork is nearly shut down, and it's slowing down the entire assembly line of mortgage processing. This directly impacts government-backed loans as well. The FHA and VA are still operating with essential personnel, but you must expect significant delays. Their regional offices are thinned out, and any loan file that isn't perfectly straightforward, anything that requires a manual review or special sign-off, will be pushed to the bottom of the pile. And for our investors focused on rural markets, the impact is even more severe. The U.S. Department of Agriculture, the USDA, has halted the issuance of new direct and guaranteed home loans. Full stop. This is a critical financing tool for buyers in agricultural and developing areas, and for now, that faucet is turned completely off. The tactical response here is what I call the communication offensive. This is not the time to sit back and wait for your loan officer to call you with bad news. You need to be on the attack. Call them today and ask these specific, pointed questions. What is your current realistic turnaround time for underwriting post-shutdown? What is your firm's specific contingency plan for IRS income verification delays? Are you seeing any specific slowdowns related to my loan type? And what is your guidance for my closing timeline? And while you're managing your lender, you also need to manage the seller's expectations. Have your agent communicate proactively with the listing agent. Reassure them that you are a serious, prepared buyer, navigating a systemic delay, not a flight risk. Controlling the narrative is key to holding your deal together. Okay, we've diagnosed the problems. Now let's build your Shutdown Survival Kit. This is where we move from theory to action, the absolute core of the PRIME framework. Step 1, the pipeline audit. Tonight, I want you to open a spreadsheet. List every single deal you have in your pipeline, from pre-approval to closing. For each one, create what I call a shutdown risk score. Ask the hard questions and be brutally honest. Does it require an NFIP? Is it an FHA, VA, or worse, a USDA loan? What's the seller's motivation? Are they a relocating family who can't wait, or a patient investor? Is it in a market with a high concentration of federal workers who might be furloughed? Step 2, the contract contingency play. This is your primary defensive shield. As we discussed in episode 84, contingencies are your legal eject buttons. Contact your attorney immediately about adding a government shutdown delay clause or an extension amendment to your active and future contracts. This clause should allow for a penalty-free extension of your financing and inspection contingency periods, as well as your closing date for a specific number of days following the official end of the shutdown. A deal without the right contingencies isn't a deal, it's a gamble. I've seen investors lose their entire earnest money deposit because a systemic delay they couldn't control voided their contract. Don't gamble with your capital. Step 3, maintain capital velocity. As we preach constantly, equity sitting dormant is wasted potential. If your audit reveals a deal is hopelessly stalled, say a USDA financed property where the seller simply cannot wait, you need to know your exit points and be prepared to terminate the contract to get your capital back. At the same time, this is where you go on the offensive. Start hunting for opportunities. Are other, less prepared buyers getting spooked by these delays and terminating perfectly good contracts that have no federal dependencies? Their panic is your entry point. This is where you weaponize technology. Instruct your agent to set up an MLS alert specifically for properties that return to the market after being pending. Better yet, you can do this yourself on sites like Zillow or Redfin, by filtering for properties with a recent status change. Look for the phrase back on market. That's the signal of potential distress and a prime opportunity. This shutdown is a test. It separates those who treat this business as a profession from those who treat it as a hobby. The amateur is frozen by uncertainty. The prime investor has a blueprint for it. So let's end with our focusing question framework. What is the one thing you can do in the next 24 hours to protect your capital and your deals from government gridlock? Here's your challenge today, and it's a non-negotiable one. I want you to execute step 1 of the survival kit. Perform a complete pipeline audit. It doesn't have to be fancy. A simple list of your deals and their pressure points. I want you to identify your single biggest vulnerability. Then go to your private REI group and share what you discovered and what your mitigation plan is. The goal of this audit is to move you from a reactive position where the market happens to you to a proactive position where you are prepared to act strategically. That is the fundamental difference between an amateur and a professional. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Martin Maxwell. Keep learning, stay strategic, and keep building one smart move at a time.